Today we celebrate a very important anniversary. That's right, because on October 1st, 2008, I had uploaded Let's Play Pokémon Red Part 1. That's right, I've been doing those LPs for a full year now. A year! Where has the time gone? It just passed me by, to be honest. And yeah, it was a lot of fun to do, and here's to hoping I can continue for at least one more year, and why not beyond that too? So we begin year 2 with nothing special, just a little expedition through the Whirl Islands. I've learned the maps by heart, so I know exactly where to go to get each item. So yeah, all that's really going to be an annoyance really is those random battles, but Suicune really needs the experience at this point. It's a bit lagging in terms of levels and in terms of EVs as well, so I'm gonna have Suicune fight for as long as it possibly can. Now, at the end of the last video, I asked you a riddle. Where have we seen that system that they use in Hard Gold and Soul Silver for the Pokéthlon stats? Where have we seen that before? Which game was such a system in? Well, the right answer would have to be Tales of Symphonia with the cooking. That's right. You remember now if you've played that game, right? You got the full stars for the stat points that you've acquired in terms of expertise for each recipe, and there's also those empty stars which mark the improvement that you can make. Well, it's the exact same thing with the Pokéthlon. Your progress in each stat is marked with full stars, and what's left that you can do is indicated by those empty stars. Oh, come on! Just stall this out a little further, will ya? Yeah, Seal used Rest. At least it's a sitting duck now. It's not gonna attack me unless it got Sleep Talk, which I highly doubt it has. But yeah, with the contest stats, you could go in any way you wish to go. For example, you could have a Bidoof be an expert in Smart contests, which obviously, well, that's not really appropriate now, is it? But this time, each Pokemon have their individual strengths and weaknesses when it comes to the Pokéthlon. For example, well, a Feebas can't have more than 1 star in Technique, so, well, hopefully you didn't hold out on those apricorns to raise your Feebas in Technique, unless, of course, it works for evolving into Milotic, which I highly doubt, to be honest, because, after all, the max is still just 1 star, and come on! Rest again. I'm expecting to see a lot of these in my trip through the Whirl Islands. But yeah, in the Pokéthlon, each Pokemon has their own set of strengths and weaknesses, just like in Tales of Symphonia. Different characters are adept at making different dishes. And by the way, just a tip for Tales of Symphonia, if you're looking to raise your cooking stats, don't shun on those failures too much, because failures increase your ability to perform a certain recipe twice as fast as if the recipe actually succeeded. So you could say that the characters learn from their failures even more than from their successes. Well, of course, that doesn't go for in-game canon, because otherwise Rain would be able to 7-star every recipe, and obviously the max for her is 2 on every recipe, except maybe 1 which has a max of 3, but I'm not too sure on that. I only know that she can only 2-star nearly every recipe in the game. And yes, I know I said that each Pokemon has their strengths and weaknesses, but there are 3 Pokemon out there that can actually max out every stat in the Pokéthlon. Those Pokemon are Mew, Arceus, and Origin Giratina. Now, before you wonder, why Origin Giratina? This makes no sense, and it looks fairly accessible, too. Well, it's fairly easy to come across a Giratina in Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum, but here's the kicker. The only way to obtain an Origin Giratina in Hard Gold or Soul Silver is through the Arceus event. Because remember that in Platinum, you are completely unable to trade a Grizziosorb to Hard Gold or Soul Silver through any means. Whenever you show up with a Grizziosorb equipped on a Pokemon, even if it's not Giratina, it's put in your bag automatically when you go to trade, so you can't send a Grizziosorb to Hard Gold or Soul Silver. So you really need the Arceus event to do that, and Arceus itself can already max out every stat in the Pokéthlon, so yeah, you get the idea. Origin Giratina really isn't as accessible as it sounds. If you got one in Hard Gold and Soul Silver, odds are you already got an Arceus as well. So this actually makes a lot of sense, allowing Origin Giratina to max out every stat. Now this area I'm in here, it's, well, you see the waterfall down there? It leads to Lugia, but obviously I can't go there from here. I really have to take the path that leads to Lugia for that, and I didn't do that. But there was this ledge there that I went to that had 2 items, and you can only access that ledge from the path I'm showing you right now. Anyway, moving on to my next subject. For those of you who are Probopass fans, even though I know it's a rare breed, but personally I just love the thing and how it looks. It's got the top hat, the mustache, the big nose. All it needs is a monocle to make it the coolest looking Pokemon in the entire game. But anyway, for those of you who were looking forward to use its new Head Smash ability, well, you're going to have to wait for a little while longer, because the thing is that while it does have Head Smash as an egg move, it doesn't have any possible fathers it can learn Head Smash from. So for the time being, Head Smash on Probopass is a no-no. Not that it's a particularly good asset anyway without Rock Head, but you get the idea. This isn't an accessible move right now, so that means there's probably going to be an event down the line with a Head Smash nose patch or something, or it could be on one of the remaining event courses for the Pokéwalker. Speaking of which, Cerebi has unveiled what's going to be in one of the future courses, event courses, that is. Aurora Beam, screw that, I ditched Bubble Beam, so there's no way I'm gonna teach it Aurora Beam. Anyway, what was I saying already? Yeah, Cerebi unveiled the list of the Pokemon that were to be in the next event course for the Pokéwalker, and it's the return of Selfdestruct Snorlax! Well, at least when I say return, it could already get the Self-Destruct, but only through a tutor in XD. But anyway, this is still a much easier way than XD to get your Self-Destruct Snorlax. Is going to be a lot more accessible for, well, battling in-game or with cartridges against other people. It doesn't really mean much for those of us who battle with simulators, but for those of you who like battling with cards, well, here you go, easier Self-Destruct Snorlaxes. And speaking of good moves, as you've probably noticed, starting with the last video I made before the Hard Gold Soul Silver release hiatus, I actually changed my policy when it came to those obnoxious first comments. Before then, I just deleted them as they came, but it still seemed that there were too many of them, so I tried something else. I decided to have them stay there, but note that those were first messages in disguise, since most of them are in disguise nowadays, because people seem to have caught on to the fact that the obvious ones piss me off, but those disguised ones, well, they piss me off just as much. So yeah, anyway, it seems to have been a good move because I've got a lot less of those Captain Dipshits claiming the first comments without having anything interesting to say. Note that I'm still contemplating eventually starting to block people on the first offense, though that's not for right now, though it might happen a bit later, so just be wary, because when I do start it, I won't be giving you a grace period. I won't warn you. You're just gonna start to be blocked eventually. Oh man, I was so close to the exit too. Well, I'm just going to run away from this battle because, well, Suicune's out of Surf PP, I think, and besides, I want to finish this area in this video, so that's it. It's done. Fresh air. So I'm gonna fly away for now, and next time we finally begin to travel on the path to Blackthorn.